The glass pitcher exploded against the hot sidewalk, sending lemonade and ice cubes flying in every direction. 8-year-old Destiny Washington stood perfectly still as the sticky liquid splashed across her handmade sign, her notebook, and her carefully counted stack of dollar bills. The woman looming over the wreckage of her lemonade stand was breathing hard, her face red with rage. "Your kind doesn't belong in this neighborhood," Karen Mitchell shouted, her voice carrying across the suburban street. But Destiny didn't cry. She didn't run. She didn't even flinch. Instead, she bent down slowly and picked up her soaking wet notebook, holding it like it was made of gold. What happened next would change everything. But to understand why this moment mattered, we need to go back 3 days. 3 days earlier. Destiny sat cross-legged on the worn carpet of her grandmother's apartment, carefully arranging coins into neat piles. $23 in quarters, $16 in dimes, $7.32 in nickels and pennies. She wrote each number in her notebook with a pencil that was almost too small to hold. $47.32, she whispered to herself. Then flipped to another page where she'd written Disneyland Fund in colorful markers. Below it, she'd copied the ticket prices from the library computer. One day pass $96, parking $30, food about $50. Total needed $176. The apartment was quiet, except for the hum of the ancient air conditioner. Grandma Rose wouldn't be home from her shift at the hospital until 11:30. And then she'd sleep for 4 hours before heading to her second job at the grocery store. Destiny had learned to be quiet, to take care of herself, to not need too much. She turned to a fresh page in her notebook and wrote business ideas at the top. Dog walking was crossed out Mrs. Patterson down the hall had made it clear she didn't want those kinds of children near her poodle. Car washing was crossed out too, she wasn't tall enough to reach the roofs. But circled 3 times in red marker was lemonade stand. The next morning, Destiny woke up at 6 a.m., even though it was Saturday. She found Grandma Rose in the kitchen, still in her hospital scrubs, making coffee with her eyes half closed. "Baby, what are you doing up?" Grandma asked, pulling Destiny into a hug that smelled like disinfectant and lavender lotion. "I'm starting my business today," Destiny announced, showing her the notebook. "I did all the math. If I sell cups for $1 each, and my costs are 25 cents per cup, that's 75 cents profit. If I sell 40 cups a day for 5 days, that's $150 profit," Grandma finished, her tired eyes crinkling with pride. "You got your mama's brain, that's for sure." They didn't talk about Mama much. She'd been gone since Destiny was 4, lost to an illness that took her quick. But sometimes, like now, Grandma would mention her, and it felt like sunshine breaking through clouds. "You sure about this, baby? It's gonna be hot out there." Destiny nodded firmly. "I'm sure. And I already looked up all the rules at the library. Kids can sell lemonade without a permit, as long as it's not a permanent structure, and I'm not blocking the sidewalk." Grandma shook her head, amazed. Lord, what 8-year-old looks up permit laws? They spent the morning preparing. Destiny had saved cardboard from packages and borrowed markers from the apartment complex's community center. She made a sign with rainbow letters, Destiny's Divine Lemonade. $1. Made with love. Grandma helped her make the lemonade using a recipe Destiny had found online and modified. "What's your secret ingredient?" Grandma asked as Destiny added something from a small bottle. Lavender honey? Destiny said proudly. I read that unique flavors make customers remember you. Mrs. Chen at the corner store let me have a little bit for free when I explained my business plan. By 10 a.m., they were ready. Destiny had borrowed a small folding table from Mr. Rodriguez next door and set it up on the sidewalk right where their apartment complex met the nicer houses of Maple Street. It was the perfect location, lots of foot traffic, shade from an oak tree, and visible from the main road. The first customer was the mailman, Mr. Jefferson, who'd been delivering mail to their complex for 15 years. Well, what do we have here? He said, his dark face shining with sweat. A young entrepreneur. Would you like some lemonade, Mr. Jefferson? It's got a secret ingredient, Destiny said, already pouring a cup. He took a sip, and his eyes widened. Now that's something special. Here's $2. Keep the change. Thank you. Would you like a loyalty card? Destiny pulled out small cards she'd made, with 10 circles drawn on them. Get 9 stamps, and your 10th cup is free. Mr. Jefferson laughed, a deep belly laugh that made Destiny smile. You're going places, young lady. Going places, for sure. The morning went well. Neighbors from the apartment complex stopped by, many buying multiple cups. Mrs. Chen bought 4 cups for her family. Mr. Rodriguez bought 2 and sat on his stoop, keeping a friendly eye on Destiny while Grandma caught a few hours of sleep before her evening shift. By noon, Destiny had sold 17 cups. She recorded each sale in her notebook, keeping track of inventory and profit. The sun was getting higher, and she was grateful for the oak tree's shade. That's when she saw the woman for the first time. Karen Mitchell lived in one of the bigger houses on Maple Street, the ones with the perfect lawns and 2-car garages. She was standing on her porch, arms crossed over her chest, watching Destiny's stand with a frown that pulled her whole face down. She was wearing what Destiny's grandma called fancy casual clothes that looked relaxed but cost more than their rent. Destiny waved at her, the way Grandma taught her to be friendly to all neighbors. The woman didn't wave back. Instead, she walked down her driveway and across the street, her flip-flops slapping against the pavement like angry applause. "Excuse me," Karen said, not sounding excused at all. "What do you think you're doing? Selling lemonade, ma'am?" Destiny replied politely. "Would you like to try a cup?" First-time customers get, "I don't want your lemonade," Karen interrupted. "This is a private neighborhood. You can't just set up shop wherever you want." Destiny felt her stomach tighten, but she kept her voice steady. "I live right there, ma'am." She pointed to the apartment complex. "This is my neighborhood, too." Karen's eyes narrowed. "You live there?" She said it like Destiny had claimed to live on the moon. "Those are rentals." "Yes, ma'am. My grandma and I have lived here for 4 years." "Well, regardless, you can't sell things without a permit. It's illegal." Destiny reached under her table and pulled out a folder. Inside were printouts from the city website. "Actually, ma'am, according to City Ordinance 12.5, children under 14 can operate temporary lemonade stands without a permit, as long as they follow health guidelines and don't obstruct pedestrian traffic." Karen's face went from pink to red. She wasn't used to being corrected, especially not by a child, and definitely not by a black child. How do you? "I researched it at the library," Destiny said simply. "I always do my homework." A couple walking their dog had stopped to watch the interaction. The woman whispered something to her husband, and they approached the stand. "We'll take 2 cups, please," the woman said. shooting Karen a look that could freeze fire. As Destiny poured their drinks, Karen stepped closer. "This isn't over," she said quietly. "This neighborhood has standards." After she left, the couple with the dog lingered. "Don't let her bother you, sweetie," the woman said. "Some people have nothing better to do than make trouble." But Destiny could see Karen on her porch, talking on her phone while gesturing at the lemonade stand. Her stomach stayed tight for the rest of the afternoon, even as she sold 8 more cups. The next morning, Destiny set up her stand again. This time, Karen was ready. She stood at the edge of her lawn with 3 other women, all wearing similar fancy casual clothes and similar frowns. "I told you yesterday," Karen called out as Destiny arranged her cups. "This isn't appropriate for our neighborhood." "Good morning, ma'am," Destiny replied, continuing her setup. Grandma had taught her that being extra polite sometimes made mean people madder than being rude would. And it worked. Karen's face got redder. She marched across the street again, this time with her friends following like ducklings. "Let me see your so-called permit," Karen demanded. "I showed you yesterday, ma'am. Children don't need permits for lemonade stands. That's for normal lemonade stands. How do we know what you're putting in these drinks? How do we know it's safe?" Destiny pulled out another folder. This one had a printout of her recipe, a list of ingredients with their sources, and even a temperature log showing she kept everything properly chilled. "I follow all food safety guidelines. Ma'am, would you like to see my hand sanitizer log too?" One of Karen's friends, a younger woman with a ponytail, tried to hide a smile. "She's got a hand sanitizer log. It's important to track hygiene practices," Destiny said seriously. "I read about it in a business book." "This is ridiculous," Karen sputtered. "You're telling me an 8-year-old, 8 3/4, Destiny corrected, has all this documentation? "Yes, ma'am. Would you like to try a free sample? Maybe if you taste it, you'll feel better about the safety." She poured a small cup and held it out. Karen stared at it like it was poison. "I don't want your product," she finally said. "And I don't think anyone else should either. Come on, ladies." As they walked away, Destiny heard one of them whisper, "I actually think it's cute. My daughter would love." "Patricia," Karen snapped. "Don't even think about it." But Patricia looked back, and when Karen wasn't watching, she mouthed, "I'll come back later." She did, buying 3 cups and leaving a $5 tip. By the 3rd day, Karen had escalated her tactics. She set up a lawn chair at the edge of her property, directly across from Destiny's stand. Whenever someone approached, she'd call out warnings. "I'd be careful about buying from unlicensed vendors," she'd shout. "You don't know what conditions those drinks were made in." Some people ignored her. Others turned away, not wanting to get involved in whatever drama was happening. Destiny watched her sales drop from 25 cups to 15 to just 8 by lunchtime. Mr. Rodriguez came out of his apartment, took one look at the situation, and walked straight over to Karen. "Lady, what's your problem? This is a kid selling lemonade, not a drug cartel." "I'm protecting our neighborhood," Karen said, lifting her chin. "We have to maintain certain standards." "Standards?" Mr. Rodriguez laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. "I've lived here 22 years, watched this neighborhood change. You know what hasn't changed, kids selling lemonade in the summer? It's American as apple pie." "Well, times change," Karen said, "and this entrepreneurial activity, it attracts the wrong element." "Wrong element, Mr. Rodriguez's voice got quiet, which was scarier than yelling. "Say what you really mean." Karen's mouth opened and closed like a fish. "I don't have to explain myself to you." "No, but you're harassing a child, and that I won't stand for." He turned to Destiny. "Mija, give me 4 cups. I got some friends coming over." As he paid. More neighbors came out. Word had spread through the apartment complex about what was happening. Mrs. Chen brought her whole family. The Johnson twins from the 3rd floor bought cups with their allowance money. Even cranky Mr. Petrov from the basement apartment shuffled over. "Is good lemonade," he declared after one sip. "Better than store. You put what in it?" "It's a secret, Mr. Petrov," Destiny said with a smile. "Bah, secrets. Okay, I buy 3 more." Karen watched from her chair, her face getting redder and redder as the crowd grew. She pulled out her phone and made a call, speaking too quietly for anyone to hear. 20 minutes later, a police car pulled up. Destiny's heart jumped, but she kept pouring lemonade. "Stay calm," she told herself. "You didn't do anything wrong." Officer Blake got out of the car, looking tired and confused. "We got a call about an illegal business operation." Karen jumped up from her chair. "Yes, this child has been conducting unauthorized commercial activity for 3 days now." Officer Blake looked at the lemonade stand, at Destiny, at the crowd of neighbors, and back at Karen. "Ma'am, it's a lemonade stand. Operating without proper permits." "Ma'am, kids don't need permits for lemonade stands. It's been that way since I was a kid." He turned to Destiny. "How much for a cup?" $1, sir, but for police officers. It's free. My grandma says you keep us safe." Officer Blake smiled. "I'll pay like everyone else. Make it 2 cups, 1 for my partner." As he waited for his drinks, he said quietly to Karen, "Ma'am, I'd suggest you find something better to do with your time than harassing children. Because if I have to come back out here, I'll be looking at charges for harassment and disturbing the peace." Karen's mouth fell open. "You can't be serious. I'm a taxpayer. I pay your salary." "Yes, ma'am, and so does everyone else here. Have a nice day." After he left, the crowd slowly dispersed. Karen retreated to her house, but Destiny could see her watching from her window. The rest of the afternoon was quiet, but Destiny couldn't shake the feeling that something bad was coming. She was right. The next morning, Destiny found her supplies disturbed. The table was moved. Her cups were scattered on the ground, and someone had drawn on her sign with black marker. Ugly words that made her stomach hurt. She stood there for a moment, looking at the mess. Part of her wanted to cry. Part of her wanted to quit. But then she thought about Disneyland, about Grandma working 2 jobs, about all the business books she'd read that talked about overcoming obstacles. She cleaned everything up, made a new sign, and set up her stand. Karen appeared on her porch immediately. This time, she had 5 women with her. They marched across the street like an angry parade. "You just don't learn, do you?" Karen said. "Your kind never does." "My kind?" Destiny asked quietly. "You people, always trying to take over, always pushing in where you don't belong." "I belong here," Destiny said. "This is my home." "No." Karen stepped closer. "This was a nice neighborhood before your kind moved in. Property values have dropped. Crime is up. And now you're turning our street into a flea market." Mr. Rodriguez came out of his apartment. So did Mrs. Chen, the Johnson twins' mother, Mr. Petrov. One by one, neighbors emerged, forming a protective semicircle around Destiny's stand. "The only crime I see here is you harassing a little girl," Mrs. Johnson said. "She's conducting illegal business," Karen screamed. "She's selling lemonade," Mr. Rodriguez shot back. The argument got louder. voices overlapping, anger building. Destiny stood in the middle of it all, holding her pitcher of fresh lemonade, watching adults fight over her 5-square-foot business. Then, something in Karen snapped. Maybe it was the way her neighbors looked at her with disgust. Maybe it was Patricia stepping away from their group to stand with the apartment residents. Maybe it was just 3 days of rage finally boiling over. She charged forward, pushing past Mr. Rodriguez, and grabbed the edge of Destiny's table. If the police won't stop this, I will. Everything happened in slow motion. The table flipped. The pitcher flew through the air. Cups scattered like dice. The money jar hit the concrete and shattered. Lemonade splashed everywhere on the sidewalk, on clothes, on Destiny's carefully kept notebook. Destiny stood perfectly still as chaos erupted around her. She didn't cry, she didn't scream. She just bent down slowly and picked up her notebook, watching the ink blur and run on her business plans, her careful calculations, her dreams written in purple marker. "You're insane," someone shouted. "Call the police," another voice yelled. "Did you see that? She assaulted a child, but through all the noise." Destiny heard something else, the smooth purr of an expensive car engine. A black Tesla had pulled up to the curb, and someone was getting out. Someone who had seen everything. "I think I've seen enough," a calm, professional voice said. Everyone turned. A woman in a designer business suit stood there, her phone in her hand, clearly recording. She was Asian American, maybe 40 years old, with the kind of presence that made everyone stop talking. "My name is Madison Harper," she said, walking forward. "I'm the Dean of Admissions at Stanford Graduate School of Business, and I've been watching this situation for the last hour." She looked at Karen, who had gone pale. Then she looked at Destiny, who was still holding her ruined notebook. "Young lady," she said, "I think you and I need to talk." Madison Harper walked forward with the kind of confidence that made everyone step back. Her heels clicked against the concrete as she approached Destiny, who was still clutching her soaked notebook like a life preserver. "Are you hurt?" Madison asked gently, kneeling down to Destiny's eye level. "No, ma'am," Destiny replied, her voice steady despite the chaos around her. "Just my notebook got wet, and my profits are all over the ground." Madison glanced at the scattered bills and coins. "We'll worry about that in a moment. First, I need to address this situation." She stood and turned to Karen, who was backing away slowly. "Ma'am, I have video evidence of you destroying this child's property and creating a public disturbance. Would you like to explain your actions?" She doesn't have permits," Karen stammered. "This is a residential area. I heard her explain yesterday that children don't need permits for lemonade stands," Madison said calmly. "I was having coffee at the corner cafe and noticed the confrontation. I've been observing since then." Officer Blake's patrol car pulled up again, this time with lights flashing. He got out with a heavy sigh. "I warned you, Mrs. Mitchell." "Officer, I'd like to file a report for vandalism, destruction of property, and assault on a minor," Madison said, showing him her phone. "I have everything recorded." As Officer Blake took statements, Madison picked up Destiny's notebook, carefully separating the wet pages. Her eyes widened as she read. "Did you write all this?" she asked Destiny. "Yes, ma'am. It's my business plan. Well, it was." Destiny's voice cracked just a little. "I had all my calculations in there, cost per cup, profit margins, growth projections for the rest of summer, and my marketing strategies." Madison flipped through more pages. "This is a break-even analysis, and this looks like..." Is this a supply chain diagram? I wanted to see if buying lemons in bulk from different stores would save money. Destiny explained. And this page was my customer retention data. 42% of customers came back within 3 days. But that was before. She gestured at the mess. How old are you? Madison asked, though she'd heard earlier. 8 3/4. And where did you learn about break-even analysis? The library has business books. I read them during lunch at summer camp. Destiny straightened up a little. The librarian, Ms. Washington. She lets me check out the adult books if I can prove I understand them. I have to write a summary. Madison turned to the growing crowd. Does anyone have paper towels? Let's save what we can of this notebook. Mrs. Chen rushed forward with a roll. Mr. Rodriguez brought a plastic bag to protect the pages. As they carefully dried each sheet, Madison read aloud, Customer profiles, Mrs. Chen likes extra ice. Mr. Jefferson prefers less sweet. Note: remember birthdays for special discounts. She looked up. You keep track of customer preferences. Good business is about relationships, Destiny said, quoting one of her library books. People buy from people they like. Patricia, who had abandoned Karen's group entirely, knelt beside them. This is amazing. My daughter's 12, and she can barely balance her allowance. Meanwhile, Officer Blake was dealing with Karen. Mrs. Mitchell, multiple witnesses saw you destroy this child's property. That's vandalism at minimum. It's just lemonade, Karen protested. Why is everyone acting like she's some kind of genius? Madison stood up. Because she is. This 8-year-old has a better business plan than most of my MBA applicants. She turned to Destiny. What was your goal with this business? Disneyland, Destiny said quietly. My grandma works 2 jobs. She's always tired. I wanted to save enough money to take us both to Disneyland. She's never been. The crowd went silent. Even Officer Blake paused in writing his report. How much have you saved so far? Madison asked. Destiny did the math in her head. Before today, I had $47.32 from my piggy bank, plus $72 from 3 days of sales. That's $119.32. I needed $176 total, so I was 68% of the way there. You calculated that percentage in your head? Madison asked. It's just division. Destiny shrugged. 119 divided by 176. Karen's face had gone from red to white. This is all wrong. You're all falling for this act. She probably has someone helping her, feeding her answers. Ma'am, you need to stop talking, Officer Blake warned. But Madison pulled out her phone. Actually, let's test that theory. Destiny, if I invest $300 in your lemonade business and you promise me 25% of profits, how much do I get if you make $800 in profit this month? Destiny tilted her head, thinking. 25% of $800 is $200, but that's only a 66.67% return on your $300 investment in 1 month. You could probably find better investments, Ms. Harper, unless you're factoring in non-monetary returns like social impact. The crowd gasped. Madison's smile grew wider. Where did you learn about non-monetary returns? Chapter 12 of Sustainable Business Practices by Professor Williams. It was hard to read, but Ms. Washington helped me with the big words. She's showing off, Karen muttered, but even her supporters were looking at Destiny with amazement. Madison made a decision. Officer, while you finish with Mrs. Mitchell, I'd like to make a proposal. She turned to address everyone. I came back to my hometown this week to scout locations for Stanford's new community outreach program. We're looking for exceptional young minds to nurture early. She knelt back down to Destiny's level. "I'd like to offer you a challenge. If you can rebuild your business and reach specific goals I set, I'll provide a full scholarship to our summer business camp, and," she paused for effect, "I'll guarantee you admission to Stanford Business School when you're old enough, with full financial support." The crowd erupted. People pulled out phones to record. Someone started streaming live. "This is ridiculous," Karen shouted. "You can't just—" "Mrs. Mitchell, you're under arrest for vandalism and endangering the welfare of a child." Officer Blake interrupted. "You have the right to remain silent." As he read her rights, Karen's face crumbled. "I was protecting the neighborhood property values. My house is my biggest investment." "And this child's education is hers," Madison said coldly, as Officer Blake led Karen to the patrol car. Destiny tugged on Madison's sleeve. "Ms. Harper, what kind of goals?" Madison smiled. "Let's discuss it properly. Is your grandmother home?" An hour later, Grandma Rose sat at their small kitchen table, still in her hospital scrubs, tears streaming down her face as Madison explained her offer. "Full scholarship all the way through graduate school," Rose whispered. "If she meets the challenge?" "Yes, but I want to be clear, this isn't charity. Your granddaughter has exceptional abilities. Stanford invests in future leaders." "What's the challenge?" Destiny asked. Notebook a new one already open. "3 parts, Madison said. "First, rebuild your lemonade business from scratch. Second, achieve $500 in profit within 7 days. Third, use your business to create positive community impact." 500 in 7 days, Destiny started scribbling. "If I charge $1.50 per cup with my premium recipe, and my costs are 35 cents per cup, that's $1.15 profit. I'd need to sell," she wrote frantically, 435 cups. That's 62 cups per day. My previous max was 25. "Seems impossible," Madison asked. Destiny looked up, and for the first time all day, she smiled. "No, ma'am. It's just a problem that needs solving." Word spread fast, within hours. Girl Genius was trending. The video of Karen destroying the stand had gone viral, followed by Madison's offer. News crews arrived. Destiny's story was everywhere. But Destiny didn't have time for interviews. She had a business to rebuild. The next morning, she set up before dawn. Mr. Rodriguez had built her a better stand. Mrs. Chen donated a new pitcher. The Johnson twins made signs. Even Mr. Petrov contributed, bringing a special cushion for her chair. "For a long day of work," he said gruffly. By the time the sun was fully up, there was already a line. People had driven from neighboring towns to buy lemonade from the girl who'd stood up to a bully and impressed a Stanford dean. "Can I get a selfie?" asked a woman Destiny didn't recognize. "Selfies are free with purchase of 2 cups, Destiny said. She'd learned about monetizing fame from Chapter 18 of her latest library book. Karen watched from her window. She'd made bail, but was under strict orders to stay away from Destiny. Her husband had taken their daughter Emma to his mother's house. Disgusted by the whole situation, the neighborhood association had already called an emergency meeting to discuss her removal from the board. She watched Destiny work the growing crowd like a professional. The girl remembered names, suggested flavor combinations, managed inventory when supplies ran low. She had a runner, one of the Johnson twins, ready to go to the store with a prepared list and exact change. By noon, Destiny had sold 112 cups. "How do you track all the orders?" a customer asked. Destiny showed him her new system color-coded order cards she'd made the night before. "Visual management reduces errors by 40%. according to lean business principles. The man laughed and bought 5 more cups for his office. But Destiny's real genius showed in her innovations. She introduced lemonade subscriptions pay for 5 days up front. Get 7 days of lemonade. She created corporate packages for offices. She even started a referral program using hand-stamped cards. On day 3, she hired help. "I need 2 assistants," she announced to the neighborhood kids. "I'll pay $5 per hour plus tips, but you have to pass my training program." Her training program included customer service standards, hygiene protocols, and basic math skills. 8 kids applied. She hired 3. "Why 3?" Madison asked, stopping by to check progress. "1 for production, 1 for customer service, 1 for marketing," Destiny explained. "Also builds redundancy if someone's sick." Madison made notes. This child understood concepts some CEOs missed. By day 4, something unexpected happened. A little girl, maybe 6 years old, approached the stand. She had blonde pigtails and Karen Mitchell's blue eyes. "Are you Destiny?" she asked. "Yes? Are you here with a grown-up?" "I'm Emma. My grandma lives there." She pointed at Karen's house. "Can I have lemonade? I have my own money." She held out 2 crumpled dollar bills. Destiny's assistants looked nervous. Everyone knew who Emma's grandmother was. "Of course," Destiny said. "What flavor would you like? Do you have pink?" "I can make any color you want. Pink is strawberry lemon. Is that okay?" Emma nodded enthusiastically. As Destiny prepared her drink, Emma said, "My grandma's in trouble. She has to stay in her house and can't yell at people anymore." "I'm sorry your grandma's in trouble," Destiny said carefully. "I'm not. She was mean. Daddy says she did a bad thing." Emma took a sip of lemonade and her eyes went wide. "This is the best ever. Can I have one for my daddy too?" "Of course." Emma became a regular customer, coming twice a day. Each time, Destiny could see Karen watching from her window, her face a mix of emotions. On day 5, Emma brought something. "My grandma wanted me to give you this," she said, handing over an envelope. Inside was a letter and $50. "Miss Washington," the letter read, "I was wrong. My fear and prejudice made me cruel. You didn't deserve what I did. The money is for the supplies I destroyed. I know it doesn't fix things, but I wanted to try. Karen Mitchell." Destiny read it twice, then looked up at Karen's window. The woman was standing there, hand pressed against the glass. Destiny waved. After a moment, Karen waved back. "What should I do?" Destiny asked Madison later. "What does your heart say?" "Everyone deserves a second chance. That's what Grandma says." "Then you have your answer." On day 6, Destiny did something that shocked everyone. She hired Karen Mitchell as a consultant. "Just for today," she announced to the stunned crowd. "Mrs. Mitchell knows all the neighbors. She can help me understand the market better." Karen, wearing regular clothes instead of her usual fancy casual, stood nervously beside the stand. I don't know what to say." "Say, would you like some lemonade?" Destiny suggested. "And smile. Smiling increases sales by 23%. They worked together for 6 hours. Karen was awkward at first, but gradually relaxed. She even laughed when Mr. Petrov grumbled about the new flavors being too fancy. "He complained about everything even before you came," Karen told Destiny. "Some things don't change." By the end of the day, they'd sold 200 cups a record. Day 7 arrived with media coverage. News vans lined the street. The mayor was coming for a photo op. Madison had invited other Stanford faculty to witness the final tally. Destiny arrived at 5 a.m. to set up. She found Karen already there, setting out cups. "You don't have to," Destiny started. "Yes, I do," Karen said firmly. "Let me help, please." They worked in companionable silence. As the sun rose, the line was already around the block. The day was a blur of lemonade, photos, and congratulations. Destiny's assistants worked like a well-oiled machine. Karen handled difficult customers with newfound patience. Even Emma helped, carefully handing out napkins. As 5 p.m. approached the official end time, Madison called for attention. "Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the final count." Destiny and her team gathered around as Madison tallied the week's receipts. The crowd held its breath. Total gross revenue, $942. Total expenses, $212. Total profit, $730. The crowd erupted. Destiny had exceeded the goal by 46%. "But wait," Madison said. "Destiny, what about the third requirement, community impact?" Destiny stepped forward. "I'd like to announce that all profits above the $500 goal will go to the community center to fund their summer reading program. That's $230. Also, I'm donating my lemonade stand and training materials so other kids can start their own businesses." The applause was deafening. Grandma Rose sobbed openly. Karen Mitchell wiped tears from her eyes. "Additionally," Destiny continued, "I'm starting a junior entrepreneurs club. Mrs. Mitchell has volunteered to help run it, teaching kids about permits and regulations the right way." Madison smiled. "Destiny Washington, you have exceeded every expectation. The scholarship is yours. But I have one more surprise." She pulled out an envelope. "The Dean of Stanford Business School authorized me to make you our youngest executive education student. You'll take special weekend classes designed just for you, starting this fall, and your grandmother is invited to audit any class she wants." Grandma Rose nearly fainted. "I can go to Stanford." "We believe in supporting the whole family," Madison said, as the crowd celebrated. Destiny found a quiet moment with Karen. "Thank you for helping today," she said. Karen knelt down. "Thank you for teaching an old fool that fear makes you stupid, but kindness makes you rich." "You're not old," Emma protested, hugging her grandmother. "And you're not stupid anymore." Everyone laughed, even Karen. 15 years later, Destiny Washington stood at a podium in Stanford's business school, addressing the incoming class. She was 23, the youngest professor in the school's history. Having blazed through her education with the same determination she'd shown selling lemonade. "Business isn't about profit," she told the eager students. "It's about solving problems and serving communities. Let me tell you about the summer I learned that lesson." In the audience, Grandma Rose sat in the front row. Wearing her own Stanford MBA pin, she'd completed her degree at 68. Beside her sat Karen Mitchell, now one of Destiny's biggest supporters and the head of the nationwide Junior Entrepreneurs Club they'd founded together. After the lecture, a young woman approached Destiny. "Professor Washington, I'm Emma Mitchell. You probably don't remember me, but—" "Pink lemonade," Destiny said immediately. "Extra ice. You were my most loyal customer." Emma's eyes filled with tears. "You changed my grandmother's life. And mine. I'm here because of the entrepreneur club you started. I wanted to say thank you." "No," Destiny said, thinking of that hot summer day when everything changed. "Thank you. Your grandmother taught me that everyone deserves a second chance." That's worth more than any scholarship. As Emma walked away, Destiny looked out the window at the California sunshine and smiled. Somewhere out there, a kid was probably setting up a lemonade stand, ready to change the world one cup at a time. And that was exactly how it should be. Small businesses lined the main street, many with Junior Entrepreneurs Club certificates displayed proudly in their windows. She parked outside the familiar blue house on Maple Street. The front yard where she'd once set up her lemonade stand now hosted a permanent pavilion with a bronze plaque, site of the Destiny Washington Lemonade Stand, where dreams begin. Professor Washington. A group of kids ran up, their faces bright with excitement. They were wearing matching T-shirts with the club logo, a lemonade cup transforming into a graduation cap. "Hey, future CEOs," Destiny smiled. "How's business?" "Amazing." A boy named Jordan bounced on his toes. "We raised $800 for the homeless shelter with our car wash service, and I sold 47 friendship bracelets," added a girl named Aaliyah. "Just like you taught us about finding our unique product." Destiny's phone buzzed. A text from Karen. "Monthly board meeting tomorrow. The Seattle chapter wants to expand. Also, my granddaughter Emma just pitched her first business plan. You'd be proud," as the kids scattered back to their activities. Destiny noticed an elderly man watching from across the street. Officer Martinez, now retired, walked over slowly. "I owe you an apology," he said quietly. "That day I responded to the call about your lemonade stand. I should have stood up for you. I knew it was wrong." Destiny shook her head. "You're standing up now. That's what matters." Martinez smiled. "My granddaughter's in the club. Says she wants to be just like you." "Tell her she should want to be better," Destiny said. "That's what I tell all my students." As the sun set over Oakland, painting the sky in shades of pink, like that perfect picture of lemonade from so long ago, Destiny knew that sometimes the sweetest success came from turning life's bitter moments into something beautiful.